to live.
Okay, I'm going to call this meeting of the Alamance County Board of Elections in order. And today we're going to be meeting to review the minutes from Election Day, and we're going to review provisional ballots and three supplemental absentees that have been approved and tabulated. They will be approved and tabulated at this meeting, and then that portion of the meeting will be followed by a canvass meeting where we'll sign the paperwork to finalize the October 10th election.
Okay.
No public comments?
None reported. No.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve Election Day minutes?
Approved. A motion.
Second. Okay. And next we need approval of the civilian supplemental absentee ballot applications received after October 10th.
We've only had the 3. 2 of them are going to be overseas. These will have to be duplicated because they came in via email. And then you had 1 military that was mailed with the actual ballot to it. They were timely in their receipt, so there was no issue on that. They both came in, all 3 of them, came in on election day prior to 5 p.m. for those. And for your stats, the 3 that you have there in front of you, we did have 6 come in past the deadline. 4 of them were not postmarked. 2 were postmarked with yesterday's date. And the deadline for that was postmarked on or before the election of 10/10 and had to be received by 5 p.m. on the 13th, which was Friday. So unfortunately, those were considered past the deadline.
How many?
6 total. Yes, sir. And then for your November stats, you're still looking at 34 that had gone out. And as of 5 p.m. yesterday, we only had 1 come in return. So that'll be at your next board meeting for approval.
Okay. Can you say that one more time? The last thing you said.
Oh, yeah. So we had 1 ballot that came in after the 5 p.m. cutoff because it came in, we got it in the mail this morning. So that will be on your next board meeting.
And what do we do with that? Just
Approve it. It's for the November.
It's for the
election.
November.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
that was
That was the important part.
And we did get our Burlington ballots in yesterday. So she's mailed out the ballots that the requests for Burlington that had came in prior to yesterday. She's mailed those out.
Okay.
So do we need to do something here?
Yeah.
Just here's your approval paper. And these are just if you want to spot check.
All right.
Now these, let's see.
Those are just tape.
Okay.
So this is the mailed military overseas.
Yes.
And this is, if you want to explain the military or overseas.
This is
to them.
the overseas for military. So what they have to do is they have to sign the privacy waiver, which is page 2 for us. So right here. And then they're going to sign the actual affidavit affirmation on page 3. And then they include the ballot on it. And that's what has to be duplicated
Okay.
for us.
So, that goes to that one. And that goes to that one. And those are the 2 that'll have to be duplicated so
Right.
they can run through the tabulator. If you want to.
I'll just hold them here and then pass them back.
Is it on this side this time?
Oh, okay. This one is, let's see,
ER5 and ER6.
okay. You know what,
So we can go ahead and sign this.
let's see. You got ODR6.
Everything.
It is over C, correct. Okay, so here's the first one. If you want to call and,
It looks like a Republican Democrat team.
okay, she can call and you can see, or vice versa.
Use the pencil. So.
Pen.
Pen.
So,
There's
We're a
not
little
big pencil.
behind on this side.
okay, and, all right, thank you.
Okay, now I'm just calling out the ones that they voted for.
That's correct.
CeeLo Fawcett and Bob Ward.
Five. And let's see.
And we hand this back to you.
And here's the other one. All right, so here's the balance. And here's your-
Yeah. Mhm. And CeeLo Fawcett and Bob Ward.
there's your ballot. And there's your-
That's the one.
Okay, no, here. This goes. Okay. Yes, we'll run them.
Dawn, are we ready for the next item?
Yeah. Yes, ready
Yes.
for the next item
Okay.
now.
The next item on the agenda is provisional ballot evaluation by the board. We'll review the provisional ballots, full count or not eligible to count.
Okay, we had 7 provisional ballots. The first 2 that I'm presenting are individuals who voted out of precinct. The first one, we had that split for O3S. They went to O3SE because that's where they're used to going, but they should have been at O3SE. The other one was they were supposed to be at Smith Elementary. They went to Turrentine. So just a recommendation for those to be fully counted.
You want them to sign them, pass
Yeah.
them around? You
I
sign them
guess,
at the
I guess
bottom.
she, it's, Elaine just needs to initial.
Okay.
Okay.
You're down here at the bottom.
Yeah, there's a box on the right.
I can't see it. Oh,
I think I,
this you.
yeah.
The next individual voted in O3SM. They had voted last year provisional and had not indicated citizenship, so we sent a letter. We didn't receive anything back. We did notice, though, when they came and voted again, they indicated that their birth state. So they didn't check the citizenship box, but they indicated a birth state. So we went back to that original provisional that they did last year, and they did likewise. So we did send an email to the state, just verifying that we could go ahead and register them, that they probably should have been registered last year. And they said that that would be correct. So we recommend that they be counted. We'll get them registered this year so that there's not another issue.
Was that approved?
Yes. The next one was in regards to, they could not find the name in the book. When they called us, what had happened in the processing after the last election, anybody who moves, we attach the information to them to show their move. Well, there were 2 people with very similar names. And so it got attached to the wrong voter. So this individual did not appear in the book. So we realized that, recommended they vote provisional so that when we, present to the board, we'd let you know what happened, that this should be counted because it was our mistake. What happened with this situation was they ended up putting the ballot in the tabulator. So it had been counted on election day, so there's no ballot in this envelope, but it would have counted.
And you guys just make that correction here.
Yes, so when I process this paperwork after the meeting here, we'll get that corrected so that they're in the right precinct.
And the person that should have been changed will get changed.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
On this next one is an individual who did come to the election, to the polling site without ID. They were referred to the help table and they completed an ID exception form. And so I'm going to, this is an individual, I guess. And so I had given you a copy of the state memo 2023-03 in regards to voters who come to a voting precinct without acceptable photo ID, that they have the option to either go and get an ID, or they may vote provisional and bring an ID to the Board of Elections by 5 p.m. the day before canvass, or they can complete a photo ID exception form.
And that's what they did.
And that's what they did.
Okay.
And so in this case, on
It
the
doesn't have to be
exception,
signed.
I'm sorry,
Does it have to be signed anywhere? Is there any?
for your signature,
Mm-hmm.
no, I don't, there's not a,
Okay.
I just wanted to pass that around
Right,
so you
right.
could see the reason why they did was they had lost their ID. Okay, so this would be a board vote of whether to accept this provisional, and the recommendation is shown on page 2 of the 2023-03 memo.
No. So we need to vote on that?
Yeah, based on that, on the what's in the memo.
Okay,
Should I read the memo?
You can read it.
Okay, I will
Well,
do
just-
it. Voting without acceptable photo ID. This is on page 2 and it's number 1 after that heading. The voter may complete a photo ID exception form claiming an exception to the photo ID requirement and then vote a provisional ballot. A county board is required to approve and count the provisional ballot unless the county board unanimously finds that the form was falsely completed and puts that finding in a written decision. And then before the county board makes a final finding of falsity, it must give the voter notice and an opportunity to be heard on that matter.
so we just need to vote on it then. Is
Right.
that the way I'm understanding it?
Mhm.
All in favor of approving this, photo ID exception form and this provisional ballot, say aye. Aye. Noah?
Aye.
Oh. Okay, so it was approved unanimously.
And if I could, I'll take that.
Take that one back.
away and keep it with it. And you can set that, you'll need to sign the back of that too. Okay, the following 2 provisionals are not approved. The first one is an individual who did present to vote at the precinct and was registered, but they forgot their ID. They chose to vote provisional and had said on the note that they would come back before 5 p.m. the day before canvass. They did not. Okay, so that is item 2 in that memo, voting without acceptable photo ID, that they are required to come back.
Do we all need to sign this or is it chair?
Just the change.
So that they did not fill out a photo ID exception form.
They did not.
So that's the reason it's
They-
not approved.
They just, right,
Right.
they just stated and signed that they would come back
Mhm.
to bring their ID, and they didn't.
And presumably they were asked if they wanted to fill out a photo ID exception form. They have, the note that the judge made was voter did not have ID, chose to vote provisional and return to BOE by Kansas State.
So it sounds like
Failed to do
that.
so, yeah.
They failed to do so. Okay.
I guess the concern there is just that they're always offered the chance
Yeah.
to fill out an exception form.
Right.
That's in the training, I assume.
Mhm.
Yeah, I saw in the help referral too, that they did state it and sign that they would come back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it's-
No, I understand that
Yeah,
that's one of the
so, I mean,
choices.
Uh-huh.
right,
And in this case, he said he forgot his ID, not that he didn't have one
Mhm.
too,
Right.
so.
okay. And then the last one that was not approved was no record of registration. I could not find, on our system or in other counties or
Hmm.
even through the DMV that this individual had made an attempt to register. So we just recommend that they're not approved. However, after processing for this election, they will become registered. So,
I see that you did all these things, check the DMV and everything.
yes,
That's
yes.
good.
Would you like to tell, since, what all you do check for
Sure.
each one?
We do have two programs. One is just the registration program for Alamance County that we
Mhm.
check first. We do have another program that we process registrations through. So if for some reason when we process, it's held up, lack of signature or address issue or anything like that, it's kept in a listing. And so we do check that list. Those lists, after a certain length of time, do get archived, and we also check that listing. We go out on the state and check their voter search tool to see if they're possibly registered in another county.
Mhm.
And then since they gave me DMV information, I also send the DMV their number. And the DMV does a search to see if they attempted to register through them when they renew the license.
Mhm.
And so nothing was shown in any of those searches.
Do they know that they weren't registered now?
They just said when they presented the vote, they just said they had moved.
Okay.
And so I'm assuming they moved in county
Yeah.
or, but we weren't given any details. But like I said, since they did go ahead and complete the provisional form, that will be a registration form. So I'll process that and
Okay,
they'll
cool.
become registered.
Anything else on that item?
Well, they need to then sign this.
Okay.
And then everyone will need to sign this for the provisional. Is that just, I just had a single copy or something?
Yes, that's fine. That's all.
Oh, two.
If you would like to.
I'm beside you.
Four precincts.
Four precincts.
Four provisions.
For $5.
No, there's only, one went through the tabulator, so you're only gonna be running four.
Okay.
Okay. Next item. Dawn?
The next item is Judson tabulating their ballots.
Mhm.
And then he will print off, let's see. He'll print off the, result sheet and y'all will complete the abstract and sign that. And then we will, at 11 o'clock, we'll start canvass.
Okay.
Statutorily, we're required to keep the supplementals and the provisionals on separate sticks, so I've already printed the results in zero tape for supplementals.
Okay,
I'm gonna do the provisional right now.
We'll have to add them together.
okay.
If y'all wanna look at this is the zero, showing them, for the supplemental, and then here's the, results for the supplemental absentees.
Thank you.
Has anyone heard anything from Homer?
He's getting better, but he was.
I sent him an invite for 11 o'clock at the Canvas meeting itself. All right. Here's the provisional balance and the zero and results report for the provisionals.
You wanna look at this, and then we'll. I'll show you what, if you want to write, and they come back.
Oh, gotcha.
Put that one back.
Okay, so. What we're gonna have to do, since they're two set, we have to report both of these, you know, you just, add them. Shouldn't be two, you know, like that's Charlie Beasley.
And somebody's writing it down over there.
Mhm.
Charlie Beasley, 2 votes. Duana Bigelow, 2 votes. CeeLo Fawcett, 4 votes. Harry Chinson, 0. Cindy Lackey, 0. Bob Ward, 3. Brandy Whitaker, 1. Robin Winteringham, 0.
And then we sign this.
And then sign that, y'all all sign that. Okay, and y'all signed the supplemental certification, the supplemental abstract, and you've seen the tally sheets for, the absentee, supplemental absentees and the provisionals. So we will recess until 11.
Am I gonna set this up?
Yes.
So, look, Dawn, I have a question.
Sure.
Tabulation of provisional ballots deemed eligible by